Healthcare is extremely less expensive here than in the U.S. The X-ray in the same equipment that you have in the U.S. $25. The doctor that set my leg $8. It just I went to a dermatologist the other day, $8. But just life in general here is unforgettable. Hello, Mom.
Before we get started, Roger, is it okay if I record, edit, and upload this to
Sure.
YouTube? Cool. And why don't you introduce yourself? What's your name? Where are you from?
Okay, Roger Maggard. I'm from Eastern Kentucky in the U.S. Worked 28 years for the Kentucky State Police, retired as a civilian. Then 10 years with the federal government as a contract employee. Uh, Came to the Philippines 9 years ago, met a young lady, and very happy here in the Philippines.
Wow, so you've been a man of many uniforms, it sounds like.
Several, yeah.
And initially, what made you decide to come to the Philippines?
Well, my wife in the United States passed away, and I was living in the same house her and I had built, very depressed. So I said, I got to get out of Kentucky, and the farthest I could get was halfway around the world.
Hmm,
So that's why I'm here.
nice. Now, I know Kentucky is more on the hospitable side in America, but how do you compare the Philippines to Kentucky, cultural wise?
Totally different culture. Uh, the people here are very friendly. Uh, they will say yes even if they don't know what you're talking about. Uh, there's a little bit of a language barrier, but most people speak some English or a semblance of English, and the people are just go out of their way to be friendly.
So you feel very welcomed here.
Very welcome.
How about safe? Do you feel safe here in the Philippines?
I've only felt threatened one time during mascara, and I was surrounded by a bunch of uh, gypsies, I guess, and they were getting ready, I think, to grab my wallet. And about that time, the security guard at SM came out and ran them off, and no, not an issue at all.
So it's pretty safe here in the
Very
Philippines.
safe, very safe.
Nice. And um, I know you mentioned your accident. In terms of your accessibility getting around in the Philippines, how easy or difficult is it for you to get around?
There is no accessibility in the Philippines. Uh, the newer hotels are usually foreign owned. They are accessible. All of the malls are pretty accessible. The PWD restrooms are all accessible. If you go downtown, you've got steps and stairs and gutters, and it's pretty impossible to get around town itself. So you're kind of stuck in the malls and uh, a few of the newer restaurants and places like that.
It's not the worst place to be stuck.
No, no, no. I mean, as an example, I can feed on Sundays after church. I feed about 13 people all that they can eat, and it costs me 60 US dollars.
Wow.
Last week in the US, I fed 15 people in a Mexican restaurant. It cost me $240.
Wow.
A lot of difference.
Hmm.
I can live here much better than the US.
So for the quality life that you get here in the Philippines, Roger, how much would that same quality of life cost you in Kentucky?
I couldn't afford it in Kentucky. Uh, I've got a lady comes in and does my laundry. I've got my wife does the cooking. I send my stepdaughter to a private school. Uh, my wife drives a brand new vehicle. I have a custom tricycle. I've got a driver. No way in Kentucky, in the U.S., could I have any of that or all of that.
You'd need to be like in the top 1%, I think.
Probably in the top 5% anyhow.
So for that lifestyle, about how much money are you spending here per month?
Uh, I'd rather not go into how much I spend.
Okay, okay. But it would cost you maybe triple the price in America. Would you say that's fair?
At least triple. Yeah.
Mm, all right. I know you mentioned that you have a Filipino wife.
Yes.
Do you recommend that other foreigners, people not living in the Philippines, do you recommend they come here and search for a wife or get a wife in the Philippines?
after you get past the cultural differences, uh, yes. Short answer is yes. Uh, the Philippines has the most beautiful women in the world. My wife is, I think, the most beautiful woman in Bacolod. Notice I had to say that. Uh, uh, I have a really good family. She has a couple of sisters that go out of their way to ensure that I'm happy. Uh, my father-in-law comes over 3 or 4 times a week and works in my yard. It just once you get past the cultural differences, it's a great place to live.
Now, you mentioned the cultural differences. Can you tell us what a few of those cultural differences are?
Uh, the women here, when they get mad at you, they'll shut up and be quiet for 2 or 3 days. And there's a word for that, which I can't. Tempo.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, Once you get past that, you're okay. Um, like I mentioned earlier, the you'll ask someone to do something, and even if they don't understand what you're asking them, they'll say yes, okay, and they have not a clue what you just asked them.
Hmm.
That's why you take your wife with you to say, interpret this. Uh, Getting used to drinking water out of a 5 gallon jug instead of from the faucet. Uh, Having a hot shower. You know, there's a few things that you got to get used to here.
But would you say the culture and the hospitality of the people, would you say it all makes up for?
Oh, it far outweighs anything. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm happy as a bug in a rug here. I mean, uh, today I got up, came to the mall, had lunch with my friends, came back down here, had coffee. I'll call my tricycle here in a few minutes and go home and watch a movie and play with the kids. It's a great life.
Living the dream.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. As far as food goes, are you eating Filipino foods?
A lot of Filipino food, yes. A lot of Filipino food, no. Uh, my wife ensures that I have something to eat. Uh, I don't do the balut. I don't do the pig's blood. Several things that they love that, chicken intestines, staples in their diet, no. But pancit, adobo, uh, fish, there's plenty to eat here. You can tell I'm not wasting away.
Not your wife's not letting you skip too many meals.
No, not any.
Beautiful. As far as healthcare goes, Roger, what kind of healthcare are you getting here in the Philippines?
Everything's on a cash basis here. If you don't have money, you're probably going to die.
Hmm.
Uh, you go to the hospital. They as soon as you go in, they hit you up for some money. You got to have a deposit. Uh, Healthcare is extremely less expensive here than in the U.S. I broke my leg 4 or 5 years ago now. A X-ray in the same equipment that you have in the U.S. $25. The doctor that set my leg $8. It just. I went to a dermatologist the other day. $8. It's just
So,
much more inexpensive than the U.S.
so $41 for a trip to the doctor, an X-ray on your broken leg, and a trip to the
Yeah,
dermatologist.
yeah. It's just. And another example in the U.S., I would go to a ear doctor and have them remove the earwax. I had to pay $100 to get in the door. My insurance would usually pay $700 or $800. I do the exact same thing here. It cost me $8 up front.
It's hard to believe for people who aren't living here.
Yeah, yeah. The cost of living is just so much cheaper than it is in the U.S.
Yeah. Um, Roger, is there an unforgettable experience that you've had here in the Philippines that you can share with us?
You know, Nothing that just jumps out at me, but just life in general here is unforgettable.
Hmm.
Uh, I just took a 2 week vacation in the U.S. last week, came back. I miss this place. I
Hmm.
mean, I love the U.S. I love my family there, but I miss the Philippines. Yeah.
And you mentioned you have a tight knit expat community over here. So do you think it's been pretty easy for you to meet other expats?
More than easy. There's a good little cadre that meets a couple of times a week. Uh, we've got British, English, British and English, Belgium, Australia, Germany, Japan. We got several different countries, and we all get together and have coffee and discuss politics and
Nice.
religion and everything else.
Hmm.
Then I've got a group that meets at my house on Saturdays, a religious group, and we have a real good fellowship there on Saturdays.
Very
So,
nice. So, all right. I think that's about all I got for today, Roger. Is there anything else you'd like to add for the people watching, people at home?
uh, if you're considering the Philippines, don't jump in with both feet, but come over for a while, get a taste of it, go back to the U.S., and then you'll miss it. You'll want to come back.
All right. Well, thanks again for your time, Roger. And if you watched this video and you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe.